Awesome. Yeah, I think we can get started. BM everyone. I'm Aniket. I take care of community at DevFolio, and today is the sixth workshop at the Onchain Summer Buildathon. And today we are going to be covering the payments track. And to help with that, we have Nick and David from the Stripe team who would be taking over. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the Q&A box, and we'll be going through them right after the intro. Without any further ado, Nick, I'd like to hand over the virtual mic to you.
Mhm. All right. Hey everyone. Good to see everyone. I'm Nick. I lead some of our payments products at Stripe. And this is David. David leads our engineering team for Stripe Crypto. So we're super excited to be here. We probably won't take the whole hour. We can keep this pretty light and simple. And so I think the best form we were thinking of like I'll do a little spiel around like kind of things we're looking for and answer some questions I think we've seen in some of the discords around building on in the payments pillar, and then open up the questions and kind of do more of a casual back and forth than just a big long presentation for an hour. So we're the payments pillar. We're really looking for, as I said in the first kickoff call very quickly, we're looking for really interesting on-chain payment solutions to be built during the build-a-thon. So, everything from Wallet Connect, things that use account abstraction, subscriptions, usage-based billing, all sorts of creative and clever ways to do on-chain, bill pay and payments in general is something that we're really excited about. Some of the questions around Stripe and, building on Stripe and our APIs to address that off the top, like because we're in such a regulated industry, we can't give you live API keys for the Buildathon on Stripe. There's actually an onboarding process we do, and it can take some time, and it requires a pretty deep diligence check to verify every company coming on in the crypto space. And so, because of our risk and restrictions, we're really just looking for more on-chain solutions. And so, don't feel obligated to like come and try to apply to Stripe and build, given the Buildathon's only 30 days. In the future, we welcome all you to approach us and build your companies on Stripe. It's an amazing place to build, and we have a great onboarding process for you. But it's not going to work fast enough to onboard you all for the Buildathon. And so that being said, it shouldn't affect the pillar. We're actually trying to get more on chain anyway in our thinking of the future, for our team, especially. And so, just build really cool things in the payments realm in crypto, and it doesn't have to be like on top of Stripe. DNR, anything to add?
No, I think that was great. I mean, I think we're going to go into some details of ideas that we have or things that you can build on chain, but in general, we're really excited about sort of you bringing the UX of on chain experiences forward and opening up the blockchain to the next 100 million users.
Yeah. And so with that being said, I think like the few areas, or maybe not I kind of mentioned a few areas to start. So like, I guess three examples. You don't have to build these, but like in my head, kind of where our head's at, like we think there's a great opportunity to uh, enhance how wallets get connected to checkout flows. And so when you go to buy a product in a stable coin, how does a user actually experience that checkout? Here at Stripe, we spend a lot of time on our checkout solution to make it faster, easier, simpler for everyone. And so ways at which users can connect wallets, sign transactions, pay for things is awesome. Um, we think a lot about subscriptions and billing. We know, there's an ongoing kind of like I guess it's like not an open debate, but it's an open um, problem to solve, which is like how do you do usage-based billing and subscriptions on chain with stable coins, right? Like how do you actually monitor? How do you sign the transactions? How do you do recurring payments? And so like that area we're super fascinated about. And we'd love to see people like, explore, different ways to do like programmatic payments, on base. And I think the third thing is just like simplicity of UX. Like um, our users at Stripe and how we typically see is like they're not typically the most crypto native. And so we try to take crypto elements, embed them in traditional processes or traditional checkouts or traditional companies, and use the benefits of crypto, lower costs, faster transactions without having to force the user to fully have to understand every piece of crypto. And so just clever ways for the UX and the UI and just simplicity is what we're really looking for. I think DNR talk about this all the time. Like the simpler the better, because there's a higher probability a user will actually like get through the flow. Um, and so DNR, anything else to add?
No, I think that's it.
Cool. And so going through like what we're looking for, I kind of touched on a few things. Simplicity is like the number one. Abstracting away the feeling of crypto, keeping it just feeling really normal and quote unquote mainstream, but just like, my barometer is like, could my mom use the product? Like she holds her iPad upside down. Like, could she get through a checkout flow with a crypto wallet? Like that would be awesome for her and for our users as well. Um, and so I think that's just like kind of the judging criteria. It's like anything in the payments realm of, we're very open-minded. Um, Anything that has a really good like sense of feeling and ease. And then just, building for the person who may not understand deep crypto is kind of our pillar's goal. And so I know some other pillars are a little bit more quote unquote crypto native. We're looking for crypto solutions that anyone could use for our pillar. Um, and so I think that's kind of the high level gist. I would love to tell you for questions, or we can look at the chat as well. But we wanted to keep this kind of casual and back and forth, and not just us presenting to you for an hour and kind of lecturing. Was our hope for this. So I'm just scrolling through now.
I do see one question in the Q&A about using crypto payouts. Great question, and we'd love to have more crypto payouts platforms. I think the caveats that Nick mentioned kind of still apply. There is sort of an onboarding process and it's somewhat complicated. I think we could probably, if you're really eager to use it, there might be a path to getting you to using it in test mode and running it against the testnet. Or maybe we can mock that element of your flow for the purpose of the hackathon. I'm happy to like correspond asynchronously with folks too. I can post my email address in the chat for anyone who's curious.
And I see a question: did Stripe remove the ban on crypto businesses in general? So we actually haven't had a ban on crypto. It is a restricted category. It doesn't mean it's banned. It just means there's additional onboarding diligence you have to go through. And so outside of the Buildathon, we're open for business. Our crypto business is flourishing. But there just is an onboarding process. It's not a self-serve process like other parts of Stripe where you can just kind of come on and start building. We have a little bit of a diligence process that you have to go through. And for the Buildathon, we just don't have enough time to take every one of you through the diligence process. And also it's designed for companies like that are registered, that are, incorporated, have like AML policies and stuff. And so it's just not it's not possible to take builders in the Buildathon through the diligence process. But in your other lives, you have companies, obviously Stripe's absolutely open to supporting all sorts of different crypto use cases, according to our processes. I'm just looking. You think it's not in the hackathon? Anyone? I'm trying to scroll through. If you guys have any questions, yeah, feel free to raise your hand.
Nick, there's a question in the Q&A from Karan about Stripe payment in India. I think that's going to be a challenging one, but I would defer to you on the details. Do you see that question there in the Q&A?
I am looking for it. Is it at the bottom or the top?
Yeah, there should be a Q&A icon at the bottom of the Zoom bar. You can just click on it and
Sorry.
that should open.
I'm in the chat, not the Q&A. Isn't that okay? Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for India, I think the best way to do this one is to reach out to myself or DNR an email. The India support related Stripe in general is in like there's a rescoping of the various supportability categories. So for this one, reach out to us. We're happy to chat. It's more complicated than probably that we can go in right now, but I'm happy to get on a Zoom async and chat to you about Stripe India.
I also noticed there's a question in the chat from Ruben. If we say Circle is the most restrictive and Transact is the least restrictive on what kind of business maturity is required for you to get a crypto business account, where would you put Stripe nowadays? So I think there's actually a couple different parameters there. Getting approved for our on-ramp is very, very straightforward and self-serve. So if you're comparing to like the Transact's on-ramp, for instance, we should be sort of as easy to get approval for as they are, or easier. For businesses who want to accept, let's say, credit cards and then go and conduct crypto activities afterwards. That's where the due diligence is a little bit more tricky. So basically, if you're a business that is operating in crypto and you want to accept fiat, that's where we have sort of like the enhanced diligence processes that Nick is referring to, where the bar is a little bit higher. I still think that we're pretty competitive in that area, and we've been getting better and better at ramping people into our products. But that's just sort of the reality of the ecosystem right now.
Looking through the Q&A. Please share email.
Yeah, Karan, I posted it in the chat. I'll type the answer here so that others can find it, because I'm sure it's hard to scroll back through the chat. But here I've posted it publicly, so everyone should be able to access it now. And that also should answer how people are available to contact. Anyone can email me anytime. I'm happy to answer hacker emails.
Yeah, and Yonks.eth, just to reiterate, we won't necessarily have to have Stripe crypto payments processing in place. Or no, absolutely not. You don't have to build on Stripe for the Buildathon. We're just going to judge projects based on just general payments like functionality, and if they're in the payments like realm. But don't worry about building on top of Stripe. And we're most interested in Stripe credit cards. So reach out to us. Like that's what DNR just mentioned. To process credit cards in the crypto space, we have an enhanced diligence process. We have many users in that do so, but just reach out and we can talk and walk you through the diligence forms for it outside of the Buildathon if you're interested. Is Stripe good?
Oh yeah, so go ahead, Nick.
Stripe present in Nigeria. It depends on, and I'm not sure if the question is Stripe crypto present or is Stripe in general is present throughout Africa and Nigeria. We have a company called Paystack as well. Stripe crypto is not currently processing payments in Nigeria, to answer that question. Yeah, so Stripe crypto is not in Nigeria at the moment. Stripe in general is, yeah, I see. Cool. Okay. Good, DNR. I think you found someone there.
Yeah, so Mick.eth, if my project made it easy to buy crypto, is that what you're looking for, or are you looking for people to use crypto to buy other things? Both, actually. So, Stripe has an on-ramp today, which we think is a pretty easy way to buy crypto. If you have sort of other ideas in mind, or if you're wanting to show off sort of on-chain swaps and things like that, super cool. If you are interested in sort of like the space of making it possible for people to buy things from a merchant using crypto, that's obviously also something that Stripe is really, really interested in.
DNR, do you want to, Alex Conway, this feels like an on-ramp question. Can you please say more about the diligence process with regards to letting norms pay fiat and get crypto? We haven't incorporated yet. Small bootstrapped. Please help. So this is a great example of our on-ramp. Go, DNR.
Yeah, absolutely. So you are still going to need some kind of a business entity to register for the on-ramp. It doesn't necessarily need to be a corporation, but you're just going to need to be able to answer a few questions about sort of like what your business is, and connect to a bank. No, don't need to connect a bank account. A few questions about what your business is and where you're located and all those things, and then the on-ramp will be available to you. We have hundreds of on-ramp users who are self-serve. They go in through the docs flow and sign up and use it. So it's absolutely no problem. There is a little bit of an extra application process relative to a normal Stripe account, but it's super manageable.
Cool. I'm looking at more. I think I just saw I was about to answer and then it went away.
There's one from Joel Jeffrey. What are the projects you're looking for hackers to build during the Buildathon? We don't want to be too prescriptive here, but it's things that are sort of in the facilitating merchant consumer transactions, right? That's really what we're interested in. Whether it's fully on chain or whether there's an off chain component, that's up to you. But basically, Stripe in general is about increasing the GDP of the internet. We believe that the blockchain is going to be a big piece of that future, and we're curious to see how people are thinking about it. Fabio says, what are other options to integrate crypto payments aside from Stripe for the hackathon? So I think like if you're asking, crypto payments to me means how can a merchant accept crypto in exchange for a good or service. And so, I mean, there are options out there today. I'm not going to point at them. Stripe is going to be launching its own later this summer. But that's exactly the category of thing we'd be interested in seeing people build on and innovate on, right? So it's like the last leg of it, the sort of crypto to fiat leg of the transaction, if there is an exchange happening, is kind of the least interesting to us. We're very interested in sort of like how do we make that available for across chains and across assets. How do we make it happen as quickly as possible? Like what are the mechanics around gas sponsorship? All of those things are really, really interesting to us. Sorry, Fabio, I know that's probably not a super direct answer, but we are really looking for more of on-chain innovation with the hackathon. Anonymous asks if the project is interesting, if Stripe can incubate us or something. So Stripe doesn't run like a startup incubator or anything like that. We do though through Stripe Atlas. We regularly refer startups in the Stripe Atlas program to YC as an example. And yeah, I mean, we would absolutely, if there was a project that came out of this hackathon that was promising and you wanted to spin up a startup around it, we would give you the same support that we give all sorts of other startups in the ecosystem.
Ruben Wolf said, the Stripe with crypto merchants, does that include Stripe Connect for marketplaces? Yeah, so Connect does have crypto functionality, and so like we can do USDC payouts on Connect. So if you have it looks like you have a marketplace. So yeah, if you have a marketplace, reach out. You could, if you're a Stripe Connect user, you can enable USDC payouts on your Connect platform.
Mads Christensen asks, thoughts on merchant rewards program as a hackathon project? That is an amazing hackathon project. We'd love to see stuff around merchant rewards. Shane asks, are there recommended AML tools, or is this something that may be of interest if new development with AI? There are all sorts of AML tools out there in the market. Stripe uses some of them. You can certainly play around with them, but if you have an innovation that you're thinking about and you want to experiment with that in the hackathon, that is also definitely an area of interest for Stripe. Anonymous asks, will the Stripe API become IPv6? That is out of scope for me, so I don't know. I mean, I presume yes eventually, but I can't give you a timeline on that. Joel asks, project we're looking for hackers to build. I think we've already answered that. Mick.eth, if my product uses spaces instead of tabs, am I DQ'd? Mick, I don't know if you want to hop on or oh, I see. A joke.
I was gonna say, I think he's joking, Deanna, but I didn't. You looked like you're really thinking about it seriously.
I'm in question answering mode. All right.
Like that's it.
Mads asks thoughts on cross payment platform projects, e.g. Venmo to Cash App. That's an awesome project as well. Mads is just coming up with all the cool project ideas here. Anonymous, can you share some refs of the Web3 products utilizing Stripe payments? Yeah.
Some of the not all of our users who have agreements with, like blockchain.com, for example, processes some of their payments on Stripe. And we have a bunch of the top exchanges around the world processing on Stripe is a good example.
Uniswap is using our on-ramp. MetaMask is using our on-ramp. Yeah, I mean,
Nifty Gateway for NFT.
Nifty Gateway for NFT. Yeah, we support a couple other on-ramps as well. Again, not at liberty to disclose everything, but kind of across the ecosystem, we're doing all sorts of different things across all of our product areas. So acquiring fiat payments, our crypto on-ramp, our crypto payouts, and our upcoming crypto payments products.
I think the DevFolio team, there's a good question around, can my project be in multiple Buildathon tracks? I actually don't know the answer to that question. They can reach out to you after this.
Yeah, I mean, so for anyone who is submitting the project to the Buildathon, they can, submit they can choose multiple tracks while submitting the project. So, I mean, yeah, that's
no, just a correction here. So each project is applicable only for one track. And Yeah, and if you're looking to submit multiple projects, then you will have to like sort of create another account and then build like another project through it. So, but if you're building one project, then it's applicable only for one track.
Cool. Working back through some of these Q&A. So
Yeah.
Sergio
Ruben,
asks,
go ahead. You
oh,
go. Good, Aaron. You go.
yeah. So Sergio asks, what level the product needs to be? Really interested in sort of technical proofs of concept. So I'd rather have something that that works end to end, even if there's sort of like some hacks in there. It is a hackathon after all. But like a slideshow isn't a super interesting entry as an example. But I mean, there's always exceptions. Sometimes slideshows are super interesting if it's like really novel. I know that's kind of a roundabout way of saying that lots of things can go, but get it as functional as possible.
Ruben Wolf, so if you have questions on, it sounds like you might have a connected platform. If you do, go to stripe.com/docs. And if you just search crypto payouts in your docs search, you can find all the country coverage and a lot more information. And also you can reach out to us as well. Would an integrating an on-ramp to seamlessly use, even for non-crypto users, into a multi-chain swap tokens interest you? I think that's quite interesting. Like, we always think about like on-ramp plus, which is like if you on-ramp into USDC, and then that swaps into some other type of token, and like that knock-on effect of that flow, and whether it's an NFT marketplace or you're sending to a smart contract. Like, I think those projects are always very interesting. As right now, our on-ramp is just like you're on-ramp into a token, and then you would have to then go figure out the swap yourself. But we're always thinking about like, what is the chain of events when post an on-ramp, and how do tokens swap down that chain of events? So that's really interesting.
Yeah, and in fact, we do have some users who use our on-ramp in this way already. I'm happy to share some documentation that we have, some private documentation that we have around this path, because I think there's room for improvement. So again, if people want to reach out by email, I can do that. Julio asks, Stripe can be used to receive card payments from around the world, but is there any difference if they are not from Europe or USA in commissions? That isn't super relevant to the hackathon, in the sense that we're encouraging folks to focus on on-chain stuff. But I think what the question here is getting at is card payment fees internationally. Nick, if that's something you want to speak to.
Yeah, every region has different fees and costs associated with it, and so the best way to learn more about that is just go to actually stripe.com. They have all the various regions we cover and stuff like that on the main website. I lost my screen. Let's see. I think DNR, I think we might be through them all. If we miss questions, feel free to post them now in the.
I'm just looking through a couple that we maybe missed that got marked as answered, even if we didn't answer them. So we use MetaMask for wallet and Privy for user abstraction. Is that okay for Stripe? Yeah, totally. We love MetaMask and Privy. Matthew asks, a very poignant question for me. Are Canadian businesses not supported at the moment for crypto payments onboarding with Stripe? The answer is no, they are not currently supported. But that question is near and dear to my heart. I am calling in from Canada right now. And it is something that's on our roadmap.
It's something I am working on right now.
And yeah, I don't think there's another open one here. So Mads asks, is there a way to reach out to the fellow hackers in this call to see if they'd be interested in working together? I mean, I think that's a question for you all and maybe the Devfolio folks, but I don't know. I'd encourage y'all to drop your contact info in the chat. Right now is your chance.
Yes, sorry, I was muted. So yeah, you can join the base Discord where like the channel specific for the on-chain summer buildathon have been created. I will drop the link to the Discord, so you can just join in there. There is a find a team chat going on over there, so you can just introduce yourself and even scroll through the chats to see like if you find someone who has similar goals. So that should help. Yes, I have dropped the link, the question. Sorry, in the chat box. I think we are done with the open questions, but happy to give another minute or two for people to drop in any more questions. They have. I can see. Oh, there's one question here. What about smart wallet and third web like Privy also? Has there been payments from Stripe to a wallet? Was this answered?
Also, has there been DNR, I'm reading this. We have an answer. I'm just trying to think what you're asking. So payments from Stripe to a wallet. It's like Stripe's on-ramp product does live in wallets such as MetaMask. So if that's what you're asking, yes, like the on-ramp can be embedded into wallets. And that's probably
fact, it's going to
popular use case.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we love on-ramping into wallets. Where can we find out about the off-ramp features? Great question, Lando. Stripe does not have an off-ramp today.
But we'd love to see ideas. If you want to hack them out, we are always fans of looking at off-ramp ideas.
Absolutely. Celestine, would an app that allows merchants to create stores and pay using smart wallets interest Stripe? Absolutely.
Did we say if we support Base yet? USDC Base? I would say stand by in the coming summer.
Are there discounts on Stripe for volume of transactions? If so, how much is it approximately? Thank you. Volume transactions, volume pricing is negotiated. You can reach out to us. That's sort of outside the bounds of the hackathon, but the short answer is yes. At scale, people do get discounts. Karan, Nick, can you please share your email as well?
Sure. All right. I think we might be at the speak now or forever hold your peace time of the webinar. So submit any more you have, and I think that's it for us. We wanted to keep this nice and light and more fun and question. And again, we're open to anything you guys want to build. Even that smells like payments, hints of payments. We're incredibly open minded. As you can tell, we're just like we're always looking for interesting projects, and we're always thinking about what's next for what we want to do on our side as well. What do you recommend support for KYC? We actually can't provide you with recommendations for KYC, unfortunately. I have been coached on this one. So the best thing you do is talk to your legal team at your company or whoever or however you're building it. I don't know if the question's for the hackathon or for your person in your personal life or your company you work at. But Stripe's unable to recommend legal stuff and KYC stuff.
However, if after talking to your legal representation, they tell you that you need a product that can collect ID documents, there is a product called Stripe Identity that does exist.
Cool. We'll give it one more minute and then head out.
I think like Mick.eth has dropped a description about the project they are building. They're looking to have some review feedback on that. It's in the Q&A box.
Yeah, I see it. I think so. Super cool. I think in general we're going to refrain on giving specific input on project ideas because it's just there's going to be too many, and I want to be fair to all of you because we are going to be judging the projects after all. So I think that would be a little bit biased, but that definitely directionally seems like the type of thing that would be super interested in. Karan, can you please share about Stripe Atlas? Not right now. It's also out of the scope of the hackathon, but I encourage you to just check it out. Google Stripe Atlas. There's tons of resources online about it. Fabio asks, would DeFi project ideas can be included? Yes, I think there are categories of DeFi that overlap with what we're interested in. People were asking earlier about things like on-ramping directly into a swap, stuff like that. Very, very relevant to us. And the opposite is also true off-ramps, right? And then Celestine asks, how many winners are there for the Stripe track? That's a good question. I don't actually know. Nick, is that a you question?
I think we're going to go ahead, Defolio.
Oh yeah, I just responded to them over chat. we have all the details about the prices listed on our prices page. I just linked that. So good to go there.
Amazing. Anything else? Oh, yeah, I can resend it. I think it's sent to the person that asked me the first time. I don't know if it actually sent to everyone. There you are. All right. 10, 9, 8. Can you please provide links to that Stripe identity? Yeah, so the best way to find all Stripe actually has one of the better, in my unbiased opinion, websites. If you just go to stripe.com, there's a drop down with every product. You'll see Atlas on it. You'll see identity. The docs are really easy to read. So just stripe.com is the best way to find the identity product. All right, I think that might be it.
Awesome. So I think Nick and David have also dropped in their email. So if folks, if you have any questions regarding Stripe or anything around the payments track at this Buildathon, feel free to drop them an email. And Nick and David, thanks a lot for making time to join this webinar. I feel like we had a lot of great questions come in, and most importantly, I think people got their doubts cleared. Any closing notes, Nick and David, you may have for the builders, like a little last minute tips and tricks on how to make a great project for this track?
I think my last comment is just simplicity of UX will be awesome for me personally. DNR, what about you?
Yeah, I think the types of questions that people were asking today are exactly the right ones, and we're very sort of curious about what you all have. So I think we've been as prescriptive as we intend to be, and we're just eager to see what you all come up with.
Awesome. I know we are at the end, but I can definitely see like an interesting question in the chat. Maybe that's the last question we can take in. What's the best crypto UX you have seen out there?
Oh, that's a good
In your
question.
opinion?
DNR, do you have one off the top of your head? I'm thinking. First one to think.
Yeah, I'll say one. I'll give a shout out to our friends at Beam. I think Beam has a really cool off ramp. If y'all haven't seen it, go check out Beam by Ansible Labs. They've done a really nice job. For
That was actually gonna be mine.
converting
I
crypto
was
to fiat.
gonna say it. I was like, that was like a cop out because I feel like that's it. It actually is the obvious winner in terms of how easy it is to off ramp into a bank account or a card. I don't mind. And Coinbase, I mean, shout out to our friends at Coinbase. Coinbase Wallet is, of all the wallet apps, like I find none of them perfect and all of them confusing in their own different ways. But I think Coinbase is like it's markedly easier to use than others, and I think it has a lot
And
of
for
room
developer
improvement,
experience, the new wallet SDK from Coinbase is the best I've
is
seen.
nice.
Too, so.
Yeah, so I think Coinbase Wallet too is pretty well done.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's a great note to close on. Thanks, David and Nick, for making it. I'm sure, we'll be seeing a lot of interesting projects being built at the Buildathon. So thanks once again. And as for the rest of the attendees over here, I think that's it for today. So we have covered the payments track today. Tomorrow we have the last workshop for the week. We are going to be having a webinar with the aerodrome team on the trading track, and you should be receiving the link to register shortly. And yeah, I think with that we can call this a close. Thanks everyone for joining in.
Everyone.
See you.